discussed up to the types of HVDC links and what are the components present in the HVDC system, right? Now we will discuss about the types of HVDC converters. We'll discuss about the types of HVDC converters. So the different types of HVDC converters are line commutated converters and self-commutated converters. Mainly two types will be the line commutated and self-commutated converters. These line commutated converters, you can also call it as HVDC classic converters. Okay, the first type of converters you can also call it as HVDC classic converters. So two types of converters will be there, mainly line commutated converters and self-commutated converters. So line commutated converters, you can also call it as classic HVDC converters, and self-commutated converters are known as voltage source. VSC means here, VSC basic converters, right? So VSC means voltage source converters. Okay, you can also call it as voltage source HVDC converters. Okay. So the difference between these two converters, line commutated converters and self-commutated converters, is in line commutated converters only you can turn on the switch. Okay, it is a electronic switch. Only the switch can be only be turned on. It cannot be off. Only turn on option will be there in case of line commutated converters. You can call it as LCC converters also. Okay, LCC converters or line commutated converters all are same. Okay. So line commutated converters, in line commutated converters, it is electronic switch. You can only switch on the switch. Okay, only turn on option will be there. Turn off option will not be there in case of line commutated converters. Whereas in self-commutated converters, in these switching devices, both turn on and off conditions will be there. In self-commutated converters, turn on and turn off conditions will be present. Okay, and the examples for the line commutated converters are, initially mercury arc valves were used. Now we are using the thyristors. After the invention of thyristors from 1970s, we are using the thyristors as a line commutated converters. And these self-commutated converters, the examples are IGBTs and MOSFETs. Okay, IGBTs and MOSFETs. IGBTs means gate insulated bipolar transistor. Okay, IGBTs and MOSFETs are used in case of a self-commutated converters. And another example is GTOs also. GTOs, MOSFETs, all these are the self-commutated converters, and they are the fast switching devices. Okay, and these line commutated converters are mainly used for high capacity and high efficiency requirements. High capacity and high efficiency requirements. And the self-commutated converters are mainly used for the weak interconnection of the AC systems. Okay, mainly used in weak interconnection of AC systems. So main difference is in line commutated, in LCC converters only turn on option. In a self-commutated, turn on and turn off options will be there. Both are the switch only, electronic devices switches only, but here turn on. In the other case, in the self-commutated, turn on and off conditions will be there. And this one, line commutated converters are mainly used for high efficiency and high capacity requirements, and this one is for the, if there is a weak interconnection of AC systems, mostly used in the large scale wind power grid systems. Okay, self-commutated converters are mostly used in large power grid connector systems. Okay, wind type of systems. So this is a classification of the HVDC converters. Okay, Under this self-commutated, again the voltage source converters will be there, current source converters will be, depending on the type of source you are using, they are divided. Mostly used are the voltage source converters only. Okay, so these self-commutated converters are also called as or VSC based HVDC systems, and line commutated are also called as classical HVDC systems. Okay. Next, coming to the pulse number. Pulse number, as you know that this pulse number is given by the number of thyristors connected in a circuit. Okay, if there are 6 thyristors or 6 pulses are connected, you can call it as a 6 pulse number. If there are 12 thyristors are connected, you are calling it as a 12 pulse converter. Right there, depending on the number of converters connected. Okay, number of converters connected, you are giving the pulse number to that circuit. Okay, so the definition of this pulse number is defined as a number of pulsations. That means the number of, for one cycle, if it is a 6 thyristors are connected, the output you will get with 6 pulses, right? For one cycle of AC voltage, you will get with 6 pulses. If you are connecting the 12 thyristors, so for one cycle of the output voltage, AC voltage, you will get the 12 pulses of the DC voltage, right? So here defined as a number of pulsations or of a DC voltage per cycle of, for one cycle of AC voltage. Okay, number of pulsations of a DC voltage for one cycle of AC voltage, you are calling it as a pulse number. So there will be a different pulse number circuits will be there, 12 pulse, 6 pulse, 3 pulse, 2 pulse, depending on the requirement, we will use that one. So as the number of pulses increases, as a pulse number increases, the DC output voltage harmonic level will be reduced. Okay. So there should be more number of pulses in order to avoid the harmonic levels. Okay, to reduce the harmonic level in the DC output voltage, we will increase the pulse number. So for this pulse number, we are using the thyristor switches or MOSFETs. Depending upon the one requirement, we will use the switches. Okay, so the valve can be, it is a controlled switch. If we are fired, it will be turned on and then it will be turned off. So by using the output voltage, okay, output voltage ripple content, that means the harmonic content in the output DC output voltage, you can find out, you can determine the pulse number also. So if you see the 6 pulse converter, here 6 thyristors are connected. 6 thyristors are connected here. 3 thyristors are connected on the anode side and the 3 thyristors on the cathode side. So positive half and negative half. At a time, 2 thyristors will be conducting, and each pair of thyristors will conduct for 60 degrees, and each thyristor will conduct, a single thyristor will conduct for 120 degrees, and pair of thyristors will conduct for 60 degrees. Okay. We'll see that one also. What is why it is conducting for 60 degrees and 120 degrees? Why you are taking that one? So this 6 pulse converter, you can also call it as a Grace circuit. 6 pulse converter is also known as a Grace circuit, and this 6 pulse converter is connected to a transformer. From the transformer secondary is connected, say transformer primary is connected to the AC supply. Next, analysis of the 6 pulse converter or a Grace circuit, both are the same. So in the analysis part, 2 parts will be there, without overlapping and with overlapping will be there. So for the analysis of the Grace circuit or analysis of 6 pulse converter, both are the same. So in analysis of 6 pulse converter or Grace circuit, mainly we'll take the 3 assumptions. For the analysis part, we'll take the 3 assumptions. First assumption is DC current is maintained constant. Okay, the DC current is maintained constant in the circuit, and the next assumption is the walls are modeled as the ideal switches. Okay, whatever the switches you are using, they are the Modeled as ideal used are the ideal switches with zero impedance under on condition and infinite impedance under off condition. And the next assumption is the AC voltages at the converter bus are sinusoidal. They are purely sinusoidal and remain constant. Okay, if non-sinusoidal voltage is there, you can't get the DC output. So, three assumptions: DC current is maintained constant, walls are the ideal switches, and the third one is the AC voltage should be purely sinusoidal and should remain constant. The sinusoidal voltage should remain constant. So I said that in the 6-pulse converter, this is a 6-pulse Grace circuit, 6-pulse converter or a Grace circuit consisting of 6 thyristors, and 2 thyristors will be conducting at a time, one from the positive half side, one from the lower arm, upper arm and lower arm, one from the anode side and one from the cathode side. So at a time, 2 thyristors will be connecting, one from the upper side and second thyristor from the lower side. And the pair of thyristors will conduct for 60 degrees. Okay, after 60 degrees, again the pair of thyristors will change. And each single thyristor will conduct for 120 degrees. Okay, each single thyristor will conduct for 120 degrees, and this 6-pulse converter is connected to the transformer with the phases EA, EB and EC, and the input supply is given to the 3-phase supply. The primary of the transformer is given to the 3-phase supply with the grounding connection, neutral connection. Okay, and this LD is the leakage DC reactance. Okay, DC reactance, and VP and VN are the positive voltage and negative voltage, and VD is the output DC voltage, and ID is the DC current flowing through the line, DC line. See, first we'll see how the sequence of the pulses are firing. Okay, at first 1 and 2 will be fired, then 2, 3, then 3, 4, like that. The sequence of pulses will be there. How it fires, at what time, which 2 pulses are firing. First we'll see that one. Initially, this is the input voltage for all the 3 phases. If you see the input waveform, red one is for phase A and blue one is for phase C and yellow is for phase B. Okay, for all the 3 phases, purely sinusoidal wave you are getting. Okay, and it completes one cycle for 360 degrees. This is the input waveform. So I said each thyristor, the thyristor will conduct at an omega t is equal to 30 degrees. Starts conducting at an omega t is equal to 30 degrees. That means alpha is equal to 0 degrees at this point. So if we take this point at alpha is equal to 30 degrees, alpha is equal to 0 or omega t is equal to 30 degrees. This is the 30 degrees point. At this point, if you see the curves, on the positive side at 30 degrees, on the positive side, phase A and phase C both are on the positive side and phase B is on the negative side. So if you compare A and C curves, okay, phase A and phase C curves, phase A is in the leading position, right? That is more positive compared to the phase C. Is it clear? At this point, at 30 degrees where I have kept the cursor, at that point, phase A and phase C, blue curve and red curve. Red is for phase A and blue is for phase C. If you compare these two, phase A is more positive, that is in the leading position compared to phase C. So phase A will be conducting from the positive side, from the negative side, only phase B curve is there. So phase B will be conducting from the negative side. Okay, is it clear? At this point, at omega t is equal to 30 degrees, phase A and phase B are conducting. Phase A from the positive side and phase B from the negative side. So if you see the circuit, okay, if you see the circuit, phase A is conducting from which side? Positive side. Is it clear? So to the positive side of phase A, which thyristor is connected? First thyristor is connected. So thyristor 1 will be conducting at omega t is equal to 30 degrees. Thyristor 1 will be conducting on the positive side. On the negative side, phase B is conducting. So phase B connected to, phase B connected to which thyristor? On the negative side, 6th thyristor, right? So 1 and 6 are conducting at omega T is equal to 30 degrees. Is it clear? At omega T is equal to 30 degrees, thyristor 1 from the positive side and thyristor 6 from the negative side with phase B. Is it clear? Again, after 60 degrees, up to 60 degrees, 1 and 6 thyristors will be conducting. After 60 degrees, so 30 plus 60, 90 degrees it will be, right? So at this point, at 90 degrees means this point, okay, where I kept the cursor. Are you following? At this point, on the positive side, only phase A is conducting. At this 90 degrees, on the positive side, only phase A is conducting. On the negative side, phase B and phase C both are conducting. But you compare both the curves, phase C is in the leading position. Phase C is more negative compared to phase B. Okay? Compared to phase B, phase C is more negative. So at 90 degrees, omega T is equal to 90 degrees. Phase A is from the positive side conduction and phase C is from the negative side conduction. Okay, phase A and C are conducting at 90 degrees. See VAC written at 90 degrees. So phase A from the positive side means which thyristor? Phase A from the positive side, which thyristor is connected to the phase A? Thyristor 1 is connected. So thyristor 1, and from the negative side, phase C is conducting. So phase C on the negative side, which thyristor is connected to phase C? Thyristor 2 is conducting. So 1 and 2 will be conducting at omega T is equal to 90 degrees. So at instant omega T is equal to 90 degrees, this thyristor 6 will be turned off and thyristor 2 will be turned on. And thyristor 1 remain in the same turn on position only. So since it is conducting from the previous interval to this interval, okay, from this interval also it is continuing. So each thyristor is conducting from 120 degrees. Is it clear? Now are you following or not? Yes, give me response. Are you following? How the phases are conducting, at what instant which phases are conducting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So at 90 degrees, phase A and phase C are conducting. So phase A is connected to positive side to thyristor 1. On the negative side, phase C is connected to thyristor 2. So at that instant of time, thyristor 6 will be turned off, 2 will be turned on. So 1 and 2 will be on the turn on condition at the instant omega T is equal to 90 degrees. And this 1 and 2 will be turned on for up to the interval of 60 degrees. So 90 plus 60, it will be 150 degrees, right? Again, at instant omega T is equal to 150 degrees. So this is a point that omega T is equal to 150 degrees. So omega T is equal to 150 degrees. On the positive side, phase B and phase A are conducting. On the negative side, only phase C is conducting. So if you compare phase A and phase B, which one is more positive? Phase B is more positive. So phase B will be conducting at omega T is equal to 150 degrees. Okay, from the positive side, phase B will be conducting at omega T is equal to 150 degrees, and from negative side, phase C will be conducting at the same instant. So VBC, B and C are conducting, VBC. So at for phase B, on the positive side, which thyristor is connected? This is the phase B line. So on the positive side, third thyristor is connected. Okay. So at this instant of time, at omega T is equal to 150 degrees, T1 will be turned off. Okay. T1 will be turned off and T3 will be turned on. At omega T is equal to 150 degrees, thyristor T3 will be turned on the positive side. On the negative side, which thyristor? Phase C thyristor, right? So phase 3, C is connected to thyristor 2. So this thyristor 2 will continue its conduction in this interval also. So at omega T is equal to 150 degrees, thyristor 3 and thyristor 2 will be conducting, and the phases B and C are in conduction. So VBC. Like that, for every 60 degrees, the pair of thyristors will be changing, and single thyristor will conduct for 120 degrees. Okay, it doesn't turn off for only single interval. Okay, for 120 degrees, single thyristor will be conducting, and pair will be conducting for 60 degrees. After 60 degrees, the pulse will be changing, the phases will be changing. So for up to here, if you see up to 360 degrees, it is completing one cycle. 6 pulses are there. One VAB, VBC, VAC, VBC, VBA, VCA, and VCB. Up to here, it is completing one cycle of AC voltage. Again, it will continue its conduction. Okay, from starting. Again, from VAB, VAC, VBC, like that, it will continue its conduction. For every one cycle, 6 pulses, you will get the output DC voltage. Okay, is it clear how at what instant of time which phases are conducting and which thyristors are conducting? Is it clear? Are you any doubts? ఇది మీకు క్లారిటీ ఉండాలి. ఏ ఇన్స్టెంట్ లో at which instant which thyristors are conducting and which phases are in on position. Is it clear? Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
మిగతా వాళ్ళు ఏం రెస్పాన్స్ లేదు. ఓన్లీ భరత్ ఈస్ రెస్పాండింగ్. మిగతా వాళ్ళు ఊరికి ఆన్ చేసి పక్కున్నారా? ఐ వాంట్ ద రెస్పాన్స్. Have you understood that by which phase is conducting and at that particular instant of time, at any instant of time? మరి రెస్పాన్స్ ఇవ్వాలి. ఇంత గొంతు తీసుకొని అరుస్తున్నా కానీ మీరేం పలకట్లేదు.
మ్యామ్ క్లియర్ మ్యామ్.
ఓకే, మరి అది చెప్పండి, నాకు తెలియాలి కదా. నేను ఊరికే అరుస్తా ఉంటే మీకు అర్థం కాకపోతే వేస్ట్ కదా అది. So this is a conduction, wall conduction, sequence of wall conduction, at what instant which wall is conducting and which phases are in conduction mode. So at each instant, for every 60 degrees, two pair of thyristors will be conducting. For every 60 degrees, there will be a change in the phase, and the thyristor walls conduction also will be changing. Only one thyristor will remain same, the other thyristor will be turned off, one more thyristor will be turned on. So this is the output voltage waveform up to 90 degrees. Okay, the thyristors will be under rectifier mode. Okay, we will get the positive side DC voltage. Okay, here you won't get a pure DC voltage, with some ripples you are getting. Okay, 6 pulses for one cycle of AC voltage, you will get the ripples. Okay, up to 90 degree. At 90 degree, alpha is equal to 90 degrees. Half DC voltage on the positive side, half on the negative side. You will get half on the positive and half on the negative side. Alpha greater than 90 degrees, it will act as the thyristor walls will be acting in the inverter mode. So you will get in the negative side of the DC voltage. Okay, you will get on the negative side of the DC voltage. Is it clear? Up to 180 degrees, it will be on the negative side only. This is the output waveform for the 6 pulse converter. Okay. Next, we will see the analysis part. So assume that fall 3 is delayed by an angle alpha, and the instantaneous DC voltage is given by. Okay, the instantaneous VDC is given by VD is equal to EB minus EC at the instant 3 is conducting. At instant 3, with which instant 3, wall 3 is conducting. At 150 degrees, it is conducting, right? At omega t is equal to 150 degrees, wall 3 is conducting from which phase? From phase B. So phase B, wall 3 is conducting at this instant at omega t is equal to 150 degrees. So at that instant, from the negative side, C phase is conducting. If you see here, VBC is conducting at omega t is equal to 150 degrees. So I am taking the output voltage for EBC. EB minus EC. EB minus EC is the EBC voltage. At omega is equal to let us take that the previous interval was alpha. So after 60 degrees, the third wall will be conducting, right? So alpha plus 60 with the interval alpha plus 60. So the before interval was, which one is a before interval? See here. So before is VAB interval. Okay, VAB or VAC. If you take that interval, so EAB is equal to under root of of ELL of sin. ELL is a line to line voltage. Okay, ELL of sin omega t. Then EBC will be root 2 of ELL of sin omega t plus 60 degrees. Okay, root 2 of ELL of sin omega t plus 60 degrees. We will see this analysis part, how to find out the average DC voltage. So omega t plus 60 degrees. To find the average DC voltage, you can find the average DC voltage for a full cycle or half cycle. You can take anyway. Okay. If you are taking for a full cycle means how many pulses? 6 pulses will be there. So 1 by 2 pi by 6 here. Written here for 2 pi, up to 2 pi, 6 pulses will be there. So 1 by 2 pi by 6, then it will become pi by 3, 3 by pi you can write it. Or if you take for a half cycle, pi is equal to up to pi, how many pulses? 3 pulses are there. So 1 by pi by 3, so 3 by pi. So that's why here I can take for a full cycle or half cycle. So I'm taking for a full cycle 3 by pi into omega alpha to alpha plus 60 degrees. Okay? Alpha plus 60 degrees. If we are taking for half cycle, alpha plus 30 degrees only, not up to 60. For full cycle, it will be 60 degrees. Okay? Alpha plus 60 degrees, root 2 ELL of sin omega t plus 60 degrees, E d omega t. Okay? EBC value. So 3 by pi. And taking out root 2 ELL common outside. So 3 root 2 ELL by pi, alpha to alpha plus 60. Take the integration for this sin omega t. It will be minus cos omega t plus 60. And substitute the limits here. In place of omega t, alpha plus 60. So alpha plus 60 it will become alpha plus 120. Minus it will be there. Minus cos. Since sin of omega t plus 60 is minus cos omega t plus 60. So minus cos alpha plus 60 plus cos of the lower limit is alpha. So alpha plus 60. Now here 60 plus 60 is 120. Cos alpha plus 60. It is in the form cos A plus B. The single term is in the form of cos A plus B. So cos A plus B formula is cos A, cos B minus sin A, sin B. Substitute in that formula. Okay. So A term is alpha, B term is 120. So minus cos alpha, cos 120, minus of minus, it will become plus sin alpha, sin 120 plus cos alpha, cos 60 minus sin alpha, sin 60. If you simplify this term, so cos 120 is root 3 by 2 and cos 120 is 1 by 2 and sin 120 is root 3 by 2. So cancel the terms, root 3 by 2 sin alpha plus root 3 by 2 sin alpha minus root 3 by 2 sin alpha. The remaining term will be 3 root 2 by pi ELL of cos alpha. Why cos alpha, half cos alpha, it will be 1 cos alpha. So I am writing it as cos alpha. So if we divide 3 root 2 by pi, it will be 1.35 ELL of cos alpha. I am taking this 1.35 ELL as VD naught. So VD is equal to VD naught into cos alpha. You can keep it like this also, 1.35 ELL of cos alpha also. It is not compulsory to change the term. VD naught, I am taking this total term as VD naught into cos alpha. So this VD naught, alpha value up to 180 degrees, it will be correspondingly it will vary means up to 90 degrees it will be on the positive half side. After 90 degrees up to 180 it will be on the negative half cycle. Again from 180 it will change to positive half cycle. If you have seen in the graph, right? If you see the graph, output voltage up to 90 degrees, it is on the positive half cycle. If it is less than 90 degrees, it is on the positive cycle. After from 90 to 180 on the negative side. Okay. So the same converter station will be acting as both rectifier and inverter. Okay, that is output DC, average DC voltage, VDC voltage, output DC voltage of a 6 pulse converter. Next, coming to the under without overlapping condition. With overlapping condition will be again different. Okay, this is under without overlapping condition. Next, coming to the AC waveform, that is ID current on the output side of the DC on the output side of the circuit. Okay. So the RMS value of the fundamental component of the current is given by 1 by root 2 of 2 by pi minus pi by 3 to pi by 3. Okay, for half cycle I am considering. Okay, for half cycle I am considering ID naught cos theta d theta. Okay, from this equation, if you cancel these two terms, it will become root 2 by pi minus pi by 3 to pi by 3 ID naught cos theta d theta. So take the integration for this cos theta, take out ID outside and take the integration for cos theta. It is sin theta minus pi by 3 to pi by 3. So substitute the limits and simplify it. You will get sin pi by 3, 2 sin pi by 3. So sin pi by 3 value is root 3 by 2. So ID into root 3, 2 will get cancelled. So root 6 pi by pi into ID. I1, the fundamental component of current. I1 is the fundamental component of the current. I1 is equal to root 6 by pi of ID. ID is the DC current, output DC current. Next, coming to the power factor. So power factor is the AC power supplied to the converter. The power supplied to the converter is given by root 3 times of ELL of I1 cos phi. So PAC is equal to DC power must match the AC power if you ignore the losses, if no losses under ideal conditions. Since switches are ideal, you have to take the ideal conditions. So the power in the AC is equal to the power in the DC of the converter. So power is given by V into I, right? So VD into ID, root 3 ELL of I1 cos alpha. Substitute VD and I1, value of VD and I1. I already got the I1 value is root 6 by pi ID. And VD value is, what is the VD value got? VD naught into cos alpha. Substitute those values in this equation, in the above equation. So VD naught cos alpha into ID, that is equal to root 3 ELL of I1 value. Substitute here I1 value root 6 by pi into ID cos phi. Both the sides should cancel the ID value and VD naught cos alpha is equal to root 3 into root 6 by pi ELL of cos phi. So if you simplify this total term, root 3 into root 6 by pi, sorry, not this one. You substitute VD naught, what is the value of VD naught from the above equation? 1.35 into ELL. Substitute that value, 1.35 into ELL of cos phi. So here, this value is equal to VD naught. So both the sides, VD naught will get cancelled. So cos alpha is equal to cos phi. Is it clear? So the power factor is 0. Alpha is equal to 90 degrees. Power factor is 0. So the reactive power, only the reactive power will be consumed at the alpha is equal to 90 degrees. Active power will not be there, will not present. At alpha is equal to 90 degrees. This is the analysis for without overlapping case. Analysis of a gray circuit without overlapping case. Okay. Next, coming to the analysis of a with overlapping case. In the overlapping case, overlapping is nothing but there will be a overlapping between, not the walls will overlap, the angle of conduction between the any two walls. Okay, the angle of conduction between any two walls will be overlapped. Okay, will be overlapped. So that overlapping angle, you can also call it as commutation angle or overlapping angle, and it is denoted by mu. Okay, the overlapping duration is measured by angle known as commutation angle or a overlapping angle denoted by mu. Okay, that overlapping occurs mainly due to the presence of the inductance. Okay, leakage inductance present in the transformer. Due to the presence of leakage inductance in the transformer, the overlapping will occur in the walls. overlapping will occur in the walls. So here as the same as without overlapping case, at a time two thyristors will be conducting for 60 degrees. Okay, and there will be three modes of conduction for this overlapping mode. Mode 1 is when the overlapping angle is less than 60 degrees. If overlapping angle is less than 60 degrees, 2 and 3 walls will be conduction. 2 and 3 walls means at the initial stage of wall conduction. Okay, the initial stage of overlapping, 3 walls will be under conduction. After the overlapping ends, okay, after the overlapping ends between any two thyristors, only 2 walls will come under conduction. Okay, that is 2 and 3 wall conduction. 3 is the at the starting stage of the overlapping angle. Okay, and 2 is the ending stage of the after completion of the overlapping angle. 2 walls will be under conduction. Again, coming to the mode 2 at omega is equal, sorry, not omega, overlapping angle is equal to 60 degrees, 3 walls will be under conduction. And at mode 3, 3 and 4 walls will be under conduction and the overlapping angle will be greater than 60 degrees. So if overlapping angle is greater than 60 degrees, at starting 4 walls will be under conduction. After the ending of the overlapping angle, 3 walls will be under conduction. So under mode 3, the minimum number of walls are under conduction are the 3. At mode 1, the minimum number of walls are conduction are 2. So mode 2 is the boundary condition for mode 1 and mode 3. Okay, mode 2 will be the boundary condition for mode 1 and mode 3. So depending on the overlapping angle, up to what interval it is overlapping, the modes will be operated. Okay, initially 3 walls, after overlapping 2 walls will be under conduction for mode 1. For mode 3, initially 4 walls, after overlapping 3 walls will be under conduction. So due to the presence of the leakage inductance in the transformer, the overlapping will occur in the thyristor walls. So LC indicates the leakage inductance of the transformer. VD and ID are the DC voltage and currents flowing in the line. And LD is the DC side reactance and V1 is the voltage across the thyristor 1. Similarly, V3 is the voltage across the thyristor 3. So across the individual thyristor, the voltage will be across a, so when the wall is conducting, remember that one, when the wall is under conduction, only current passes, voltage will be 0. Voltage will not be there. When the wall is under non-conduction mode, the wall is not conducting, then the voltage will be passed through that one. Current will be 0. So voltage V1 indicates the voltage across the thyristor 1. Similarly, V3 is the voltage across thyristor 3, V5 voltage across thyristor 5. Like that, for the individual thyristor, we will denote with the voltage V2 with the thyristor number. And T and N are the positive and negative poles of the line. Next, analysis of 2 and 3 wall conduction, that is mode 1 conduction. So this mode 1 conduction will occur when overlapping angle is less than how much? Overlapping angle is less than 60 degrees. The 2 and 3 wall conduction mode will occur. We see the circuit diagram here. 3 walls are under conduction. Wall 1, 3 and 2 are under conduction. Okay, so wall 1 and 3 are conducting from the positive side and wall 2 is conducting from the negative side. Is it clear? Wall 1 and 3 are conducting from the positive side of the DC voltage and from the negative side of the DC voltage, wall 2 is under conduction. So from the positive side, EAB or EBA walls are conducting, right? So EB minus EA is equal to, due to the leakage inductance, these two are overlapping. Wall 1 and wall 3 are overlapping. So the leakage inductance is LC, right? So due to that leakage inductance, LC is given by dI3 by dt minus dI1 by dt. So voltage and current relationship in case of inductor, V is equal to LTI by dt. In that form it is written. So voltage here for thyristor 3 is EB and the voltage for thyristor 1 is EA. EB minus EA is equal to L is leakage inductance LC dI3 by dt minus dI1 by dt. That is this equation. Okay. We'll see the analysis part for this 2 and 3 conduction mode. So let us consider that initially wall 1 and 2 are conducting and there is a overlapping with wall 3. Okay, 1 and 3 are overlapping. If you see the circuit also, wall 1 and 3 are under overlapping condition. So at that particular in now wall 1, 2 and 3 walls are conducting. Now let us consider wall 1, 2 and 3. 3 walls are under conduction mode. So when wall 1 and 2 are conducting, okay, when wall 1 and 2 are conducting, the current IA, since the phase A will be conduction for the wall 1 and for wall 2 phase C will be under conduction from the negative side, right? So minus IC, IA is equal to minus IC, that is equal to current flowing through wall 1 is I1 current and current flowing through wall 2 is I2 current, that is equal to DC current ID, output DC current ID. Similarly for phase B, I3, I4, I5, I6. So for all remaining all the walls, the current flowing through it is 0. And the voltage for from the positive side, VA voltage is there. So VA is equal to VP, that is equal to EM sin omega cos omega t plus 60 degrees. Similarly for EB is equal to cos omega t minus 60 degrees and DC is equal to EM sin cos omega t minus 180 degrees and DC voltage is equal to VP minus VM, that is equal to phase A voltage minus phase C voltage EAC. So root, if you take the minus, root 3 times of EM cos omega t plus 30 degrees. So when this was wall 1 and wall 3 wall 2 are conducting, so current through this walls, voltage through the walls is V1 is equal to V2 is equal to 0. Only wall 3 voltage will be under conduction. So we root 3 EM of sin omega t. Only wall voltage flows through wall 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, that all voltages have written here. So take the circuit here. Wall 1 and 3 are conducting from the positive side and wall 2 is conducting from the negative side of the DC voltage. Let us say the wall 3 is fired at an angle alpha. Okay, at an angle alpha, wall 3 is fired and at this instant of time, the overlapping will start. The overlapping between 1 and 3 walls will be started. Okay, so during the overlapping period, the thyristor 1 and thyristor 2, they both will conduct together. They both will conduct at a time. So at starting stage of the overlapping angle is alpha. So take at the starting stage the current through the thyristor 1 I1 is equal to ID, the output current ID, and at the initial stages the current through I3 is equal to 0. And when the overlapping ends, let us say take that the overlapping at an angle alpha plus mu. Okay, the overlapping angle ends at an angle alpha plus mu. Then at the ending of the overlapping angle, as the overlapping angle goes on increasing, the current through the first thyristor will be reduced. The current through the whichever you have fired, the current will be increased. So the current will be reversed. Current through I1 is equal to 0. Current through I3 is equal to ID. So the ending of the overlapping angle, you are calling it as the extinction angle. Alpha plus V, you are calling it as the extinction angle. So during the overlapping period, a loop is formed. N3, 1, N. Okay, see the loop here. For the positive side, N, wall 3, again 1, again to the N. Okay, from the positive side, this loop is under conduction when the overlapping is occurring. N, 3, wall 1 and the N. So if you take the voltage current, we have seen this equation, EB minus EA is equal to LC di3 by dt minus di1 by dt. So EB minus EA is root 3 ELL of sin omega t. In the previous derivation you have seen without overlapping case, EB minus EA is root 2 times of ELL of sin omega t. So when both the walls are conducting, on the positive side, the current ID, the DC current ID is equal to I1 plus I3, the current flowing through the thyristor 1 plus thyristor 3. So I1 is equal to ID minus I3 also you can write, or I3 is equal to ID minus I1 also you can write it. So substitute the I1 value in the above equation. That is root 2 of ELL of sine omega t, that is equal to LC di3 by dt minus L d by dt of, in place of I1 I am taking it as ID minus I3. You can substitute the I3 value also, but don't substitute both the values, I1 value and I3 value. Any one value you can substitute it. Now I am substituting the I1 value. So separate the terms. The second, take out LC outside and separate the terms, ID term and I3 term here. So d by dt of I3 minus d by dt of ID plus d by dt of I3. Now I am neglecting this term, the middle term d by dt of ID, because it is a constant term, constant DC current. I am neglecting this term and considering only the first term and the third term. So since here 1 d by dt of di3 by dt, di3 by dt, so I am writing as 2 di3 by dt into LC. So from this equation, di3 is equal to root 3 ELL of sine omega t by 2 LC. Now integrate on both the sides with the initial stage of overlapping angle and ending of the overlapping angle. So initial stage of overlapping angle you can also call it as commutation angle, and ending stage of overlapping angle you are calling it as extinction angle. Okay. Root 3 ELL of sine omega t by 2 LC to take the integration. So sine omega t d omega t integration is minus cos omega t by omega. Take the integration and substitute the limits. If you substitute the limits, I am writing the minus cos alpha plus mu plus cos alpha, you will get it. After taking integration, if you substitute the limits. So I am writing the positive term first, next negative term cos alpha minus cos alpha plus mu. ID is equal to C, from the equation to C, or equation to what is, where is equation to? See, from this equation to I3 is equal to ID. Okay. So here in place of I3 I am substituting ID. On the LHS side I am taking ID, that is equal to IS into cos, taking this whole term root 3 ELL by 2 of LC into omega, I am taking it as IS into cos alpha minus cos alpha plus mu. Okay, this is the DC current. Then 2 and 3 volts are under conduction. Okay, 3 volts are under conduction during the overlapping period. Okay, in the next sessions we will see the average voltage and the remaining will complete that one.